Welcome friends once again to the session. In this session, we are going to discuss one of the important feature of C programming language called as functions in C programming language. Functions is a very useful utility in C. You will find that people prefer to use function in C, and largely we can say that any C program is basically a collection of functions. In this session, we are going to understand what are functions, what are the different types of functions, what are the advantages of using functions, and also we will see how to make the use of functions in C programming language. As you know that you are viewing this session on my YouTube channel, Learn with Prakash Khanale. You will find that the concept of function is borrowed from the real life only. Suppose you have a bike and you are using the bike for going from one place to another place. Now you know how to drive a bike, but it doesn't mean you know everything about the bike. If because of some reason the engine of the bike gets failed, then you cannot repair it on your own. You need to go to the garage in order to get it repaired. Similarly, if the tire get punctured, then you need to seek the help of the other people in order to repair that tire. So you will find that in real life, it is not practically possible for us to perform all the tasks on our own. So many times we need the help of other people in order to get the task done. Say, for example, you have a marriage function in your home and you know that you need the help of many other people. Say, for example, the decoration part is being maintained by some person, the catering services offered by another person. Similarly, you will find that in programming also, whenever we have a large task, then we can divide this large task into smaller subtasks. And we can write a self-contained code for each subtask. Now, when such code is being written, that is the self-contained code that is being written to perform a specific task, you can say that it can be called as a function. A function can also be called as a procedure, or many times we call it as a subroutine. And as I say, any C program is basically a collection of functions. Now let us see what can be the advantages of using functions in C programming language. When we make the use of functions in the C programming language, then basically what we are doing is that we are avoiding the rewriting of the same code again and again. Say, for example, in certain programming situations, you need to write the code for the sorting, and you need to use the sorting several times within a program. In such a case, you cannot add the same code again and again in your program because that will increase the length of the program. In such a case, you can write a function for sorting of the numbers, and this function can be called whenever you want the sorting to be get done. So you will find that the function will support the modularity approach also in the design of the program. When the program is being divided into different modules, then for each module, you can write a function. And therefore, we can say that the design of the programs becomes easier by making the use of the function. The development of the code is much easier when we make the use of the function because the length of the code is being reduced. The same code did not to be written again and again in the same program. The maintenance of the code is also much easier. You will find that a regular maintenance of any program is required, and several times we need to repair some part of the program. When the program itself is written in the modular form, then you will find that its maintenance becomes much easier. When we write several functions for different functionalities, then basically what we are doing is that we are enhancing the features of the C programming language. You will find that the C functions can be divided into two types. The first type that is being called as a library functions or built-in functions. So these are the functions for which the code is readily available with the compiler, and they are available in the library files of the C compiler. Another type of the function that is being called as a user-defined functions. That is, these are the functions that are written by the user and they are created by the user for different purposes. You will find that the library functions are readily available and their code need not to be written by the programmer. Whenever you want to make use of such functions within your program, then the corresponding header file need to be included within your program. Say for example, we have make use of several library functions so far, such as scanf, which is used to read the input. Similarly, whenever you want to display any output, then we have made the use of printf functions. So these are the functions that are built-in functions or library functions. But if the programmer is not happy with the library, and if he want to create any function on his own, then he can create such function, and that function is being called as a user-defined function. Say for example, for sorting of the numbers, somebody has written a function called as a bubble by using bubble sort method, then such function can be called as a user-defined function. Or suppose somebody want to search an element, then he write a function for searching, and it can be a user-defined function. Or somebody compute the grade of the student by using the compute grade function, then that can be a user-defined function. You will find that whenever we want to make the use of function in a C programming language, then the first thing that we need to do is that we need to declare the function. The declaration of the function is being called as function prototyping. We need to tell the C compiler what is the function name, what are the function parameters, and what is the return type of the function. So whenever we want to declare a function, then there is a syntax of declaration. And this syntax is like this. Initially, you have to write down what is the return type of the function. The return type can be any valid data type. Then you have to write down a function name. The function name can be any valid variable name. And then in the bracket, you can make the use of list of arguments or list of parameters. And whenever you make certain arguments over here, then you need to declare their types also. After that, there will be curly brackets, and within the curly brackets, you need to write several statements, and these statements will form the function body. You will find that this argument list is an optional thing. If you want to write arguments, then only you can write, otherwise you can keep it empty. Also, you will find that when the function is being declared, then you can attach the function body at the time of declaration itself, or there is another option that you can define the function laterwards also. That is, initially you just declare the function. If you only declare the function, then you need to write over a semicolon over here, and then afterwards you can write the function body. Or you can write the function body while declaring the function itself. In such a case, here you need not to make use of any semicolon. Say for example, I am making the use of a function sum, and suppose void is the return type. That is, I do not want to return any value. And there are two arguments, a and b, and both of them are of the type integer. And now what we are doing is that we are making an addition of these two numbers, and the result of the addition is being displayed. Whenever you make the use of a function, then you need to declare it first. After declaration, you can call a function within your program. So calling of the function is of two types. That is, the first one is called as call by value. You can call a function by its value. And another way of calling a function is call by reference. So in call by value, you will find that the values of the actual parameters are copied into the formal parameters. That is, when we declare a function or when we define a function, the parameters that are being used are called as the formal parameters. And when we call a function, then the parameters that are used are called as the actual parameters. So in call by value, the values of actual parameters are copied into the formal parameters. And therefore, you will find that in call by value, there will be no change in the original values of the parameters. In call by reference, you will find that the address of the actual parameter are being copied to the formal parameters. And therefore, both of these, that is actual parameters and formal parameters, will refer to the same memory location. And therefore, within a function body, if there is any change in the values, then this change in the values will be modified for both of them. That is, the original values will get altered when we use the call by reference, while the original values will not get altered in call by value. So let us see one simple C program where we will see how the function is being declared and how the function can be called in a C program. This is a simple C program where initially we have included the standard input output header file. Now we are making the use of function, and this function name is suppose add, and there are two arguments to this function, and the type of the arguments is integer only. So this is a function declaration only, and therefore here you have used a semicolon. Now this is my main function, and in the main function I have declared three variables a, b, and c, where a and b are initialized to the values. Now I can call a function simply by writing the name of the function. So this is a call by value. Now here I am making the use of the statement c is equal to add a comma b. So here a comma b becomes the arguments, actual arguments, where the values 10 and 20 will be passed to the function, and the control will be transferred to the function definition when this statement is executed. Now you will find that in the function definition is given at the end of the program. And in the function definition, again, we have written the prototype of the function, integer, add, that is the name of the function, then the two arguments. So this is a function definition where I am giving the complete code of the function. A variable c is being declared. And now what we are doing is that we are making the addition of a and b, and we are returning the value of c. So whenever we call the function, then the control will be transferred over to the definition part. This part, that is the function body, will get executed, and the value of the c will be returned. And the value of the c will be returned over here, and again it can be assigned to the variable c. So finally, we can print what is the value of the c, and then finally we return a 0 to the main function. So when this program has to be executed, then you need to have an appropriate compiler installed on your computer, or you can go online and you can search for C compiler. You will find that in the text editor window, you need to type this program without any mistakes, and you will find that when you press the execute button, then at the output you will get C is 30. So you will find that the values of A and B will be passed to this function, and then the value of C will be computed by making an addition of A and B, and this value will be returned at this point, and you will find that the value of the C will be 30, and this value will be printed over here. So thank you, friends, for viewing this presentation. Hopefully you have understood what are the functions and how we can make the use of the functions in C programming language. Thank you for your viewing. If you want to write any comments, then of course your comments are welcome, and you can give any suggestions as well. Thank you.